Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates and the such, I usually go about on Twitter X. And tomorrow we'll have a Callisto Protocol episode. Yesterday I did publish by the end of my day the episode number 10. And yeah, I will see regarding the second Monster Hunter Wilds beta how I will try to manage. Most likely, I will play it by myself when I have time, and probably try to do some recordings, and then launch as I did last time. See my experimentation and my experience with the Monster Hunter franchise there. Other than that, not much happening in terms of updates and the such at this moment in time. Again, one of my plans for this year is trying to get a proper schedule for do some live streams here and there, at least one time per week. But it's a little bit tricky to try and get a proper scheduling for that, mainly because again my work as a freelancer, I don't have any I don't have any fixed schedule for work or not, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. But if the again when I can, I will let you all know, because I really want to do some Death Stranding, and probably Monster Hunter Wilds will be also a good point for me to try and go around and probably buy the game if the reviews are good. Um, and stream this game, because I'm very curious about this franchise, and I like the taste that I got from the beta. I enjoyed what I played, but yeah. Other than that, we'll see how it goes. I will try to do my best to get around and see if I can manage to do some streaming this year. Um, we got some news here. It seems that again the lack of inventory and the fact that basically this NVIDIA shit launch, paper launch, whatever you want to call it, it led also officially AIB's partners, specifically MSI and ASUS, to ramp up the official prices after 1 week after the card supposedly launched. They ramp up in their own official stores their pricing, and it's reaching an absurd levels. Even though we've been seeing some issues here and there from the GPUs themselves. Again, it's not AIB partners' fault, from what I understand. It's I will cover in the next article there. But here the prices, we don't see any of those at MSRP the the same as NVIDIA setup here with the Founders Editions. I think there is only one GPU out of these two AIBs in all of their lineup. I think this is the one Asus Prime GeForce, but it's not on stock from what I understand here, and probably will jump up more in price. Again, there are some 5090s selling for around $4,400, um, which is not good. Again, it's basically almost 150% inflation in that pricing there. Again, I'm not sure if it has anything to do with this new sanction stuff that the current administration of the United States imposed on those on everything. But again, they will try to squeeze out everything that they can. And even if you have the money to buy this, again, I don't think stock is there for you to buy this GPU. Even if you want to spend basically a price of a GPU to buy a GPU from the MSRP, because if you think about it, $2,000 MSRP. Again, these AIB cards, we all know that they have extra features, the OC, the cooler design is different, all that jazz. But spending what it amounts of a 5080 GPU to buy a 5090, from the difference from MSRP to the price they are selling, it's a little bit too much. And of course, with all the issues that we are seeing here with the black screens, it seems to pinpoint to a little bit of the fact of the PCI Express lane stuff there, given that this Blackwell GPUs, it's the first one that is supporting out of the gate PCI 5X connection. And it seems to be pointing out the fact that they didn't do I'm not sure how we can put the blame on, let's say, but it seems we got another this I don't know outlet Club 386 that they were reviewing a PC from a system integrator with a 9800 X3D and a 5080 GPU, and at the first boot everything was good, but at the second boot I will assume again it rebooted, maybe some updates were made in the meantime, and they had this issue. But it seems that they on the BIOS settings they did manage to put manually on the PCIe connection speed as 4.0, and it seems to resolve the issue. It might be something probably regarding motherboard stuff there and how they auto detect the PCI Express stuff. Again, given that we already have for some time now, usually the NVMEs using the PCI E5, probably there is some issue there, and maybe some conflict on the BIOS setup of the motherboard vendors or something like that, and it just doesn't recognize the GPU. Given, I assume through the logical steps is you for you to boot the system. I think the BIOS really checks if there is a system to boot on. So it goes first on the SSD, and then might be some conflict regarding the connection itself. It detects something extra that it's not recognized at the GPU, and basically the GPU enters in a black screen. It seems so far that this is the main issue, let's say, even though I think some more investigation should be done. And I think maybe you should, on first boot, if you install this GPU or before you install the new GPU, just make sure that for now, you can manually put on the BIOS, if the motherboard supports, of course, PCI 5.0. Again, new motherboards for sure will support, but manually input on PCIe express lanes as 4.0 on the BIOS, and then you can reboot it. But I always recommend when you change GPUs as a normal consumer, the best thing to do is use DDU to uninstall the drivers that you already have, disconnect internet, and then do how do we call it, a complete um, installation of the drivers. I forgot the option that we have there, which is a full installation or something like that. But yeah, other than that, it seems so far this is one of the main issues. But again, we are not sure because it might be PCI connection, but we saw other people just having some issues on the GPUs breaking completely, not having managed to resolve the situation. We don't know if what kind of other steps that they took. At least that's my perception from the post that I saw. I'm not sure if they managed to trick around on the BIOS setups or on the PCI lane stuff there on the BIOS settings. Again, I think again it's not mandatory or an obligation of a normal consumer that is not aware of this small inferences regarding BIOS setup. I think somebody that is not very well savvy on going through the BIOS settings, just a normal consumer, usually what you do is when you assemble something, it's expected for you to work out of the box to a certain degree. And then if you are savvy enough, you can go around and try to trick around settings if you feel comfortable with. But yeah, we need more data, let's say, to make a more informed opinion regarding this. But yeah, the fact that out of the gate, we're missing a lot of what we can call for the moment being PCI Express lanes issues here. We'll have to wait to see how this will develop here. On the Intel side of things, supposedly they might be preparing more GPU stuff. Again, they are preparing more GPU stuff. We don't know exactly what they are preparing for. There is some workstation GPUs that I think they are developing, which is basically more VRAM for editors and stuff like that, for more production works side of things. But again, this is rumor based. We don't have like precise information regarding this. But there was on the database of Mesa 3D graphics driver code. There was an update, and at the moment there are just two again desktop GPUs, which was the B580 and the B570, which use the G21 chip GPU. And the update here on the database, it seems that we have, I think it's this green one. Maybe this is a workstation kind of a thing, or maybe given that we don't have a specific serial number, we can be like the 77 or B7070. We don't know, but the interesting thing is these two ones, they only are referred as BMG. Again, might be normal stuff here, maybe preparing everything to be for these workstation GPUs, but it might also be something for the DIY market, probably 70, like I mentioned, B7070 or B7080, we don't know exactly, or B7050. But yeah, interesting to see. But yeah, hopefully we can get more information. Hope, and also hopefully it would be good to see if they can manage to launch a little bit more stronger GPUs for their lineups to maybe try to compete with the, I don't know, 5060s or around that, and compete with the hopefully the 9060s from AMD, to see if we get a little bit more competition on the lower end of the price range. It's always good to see cheap and good GPUs. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this will develop also. But yeah, other than that, in terms of hardware, this is what I caught my attention here. In terms of games, we got Paradox basically acquired Haemimont games. I was not aware of this. Guys were the ones that did the Jagged Alliance free game, and usually they are working on this kind of games, city building games, and turn-based combat games like Jagged Alliance games, which is very interesting. Usually, city building is not for me, but yeah, they are working supposedly on Tropical 3, 4, and 5, or worked on that. City building game, Survivor Mars, action RPG, Victor From. I remember seeing this game somewhere, but I don't know exactly what the game is about. A survival simulation game, Stranded Alien Door. I'd never heard of it. And again, most recently, Jagged Alliance Free. Again, the business was basically cash up front, so they made a base, and then again, it's as a return on investment regarding this deal. But yeah, interesting to see again that it seems that the short-term future of gaming will come up very much from smaller developer studios, because they have more creative freedoms. They don't feel that stranded on certain objectives or financial objectives. They usually can work with smaller teams, and smaller budgets also, and usually they can put their creative minds working on these limited resources. Usually that's when the best creative works come to light. But yeah, it's good to see that Paradox as a publisher at least seems to be investing and has good faith on this business here. They launched their own statements, CEO of Paradox and the founder of Haemimont Games. But yeah, good to see that things are still going there. And then we got out of nowhere. I didn't notice this. This was not announced on the Capcom highlight stuff there, but Monster Hunter Wilds now has a free benchmark tool and some updated PC requirements. Again, I don't remember exactly which were the PC requirements before. I covered that when they came out. But yeah, I managed to download this and try a little bit. I only noticed this by the end of my day. Again, this result here is with the upscaling involved, so take it with a grain of salt here. But yeah, I managed to tweak a couple of settings here, native 4K. I just downgraded a few things regarding some details there. I probably might do a video on that, see how it goes, to see with the hardware that I have, which kind of settings can you reach. and have a good experience. And I did manage to get around this kind of a score, so excellent score, and having an average of 60 frames per second, give or take. And it tanked a little bit on the ups part of things, and when the environment changed a lot, it tanked a little bit around 55, if not mistaken. I might do a video doing a benchmark with the settings that I have and probably trying to tweak around with upscaling to see how well we can gain something. And this one has frame generation. I didn't have any frame generation. So again, this is a very skewed result, taking into account that it got upscaling and frame generation there. But yeah, interestingly enough, I did manage to trick around and having kind of a stable 60 frames per second all around. And in terms of, again, I didn't use upscaling, as I mentioned, but they have here a very comprehensive PC requirements here. So I'm just going for the Ultra one, which is more in line with the hardware that I have. Uh, to all the output resolutions do put itself as upscaled and with frame generation, except for the minimum doesn't have. But yeah, I don't know, an Intel i5, what, 1100, 11600K, or even a 7700. I got the 7700X. Again, RAM 16 gigabytes minimum. It's the advisable there. In terms of GPU, interestingly enough, I got the 7900 XTX, so that's why I can do it 4K without upscaling here. And again, this is presets, so it doesn't have any kind of tweaks. VRAM, again, the more high end that you go, the more VRAM that you're going to need. In terms of storage, again, the advisable is having NVMe kind of a thing for the the textures and all that stuff. And they put some notes here, which is interesting. SSD required. This game is expected to run 4K upscale with frame generation on the ultra graphic settings, direct storage supported. And again, they put it everything here. Everything is can be changed in the meantime until the launch of the game. They are still working on in terms of optimization for the PC port there, which is good to see. I think they want to fully bet here that they want to have a good and smooth launch on the PC side of things because it's a huge market. They sold very well Monster Hunter World when they came out to PC. So I think they want to have a good, everybody has a good experience regarding this game on PC. But yeah, I will probably see if I can manage to do a video regarding covering this to see how we can manage to get around having a good experience with the hardware that I have at this moment. It's the only hardware that I have. I don't have any other GPUs or CPUs to test things around. But yeah, it seems a little bit better because on the first beta thing, I had to use upscale to reach those 60 frames per second and very high settings. But yeah, interesting to see. You can download it and test out and tweak around on settings to see if your hardware does really support. And having a guide like this scoreboard, it's always good to see what kind of settings you might want to tweak out. But yeah, and then finally, again, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 sold at least 1 million copies in the first 24 hours or so. Has good concurrent players on Steam, around 160,000 there, and the review seems to be pretty good. Again, I watched a couple of reviews. Most of them don't even mention what the so-called gay scene. But yeah, the fact that I think the main issue with this game is the creative director itself. The way he responded to people's questions, especially after it came out of that the game was banned in Saudi Arabia because of a skippable gay scene kind of a thing. There, I covered that. But yeah, the response is not being that good. I think he should take the win and focus on the positive conversation around the game and trying to make it that everything will be better after the launch of the game with all the patches and all that stuff there and the content that they already announced the roadmap for that. But yeah, even though gamers are pretty good on the experience that they're having overall. Yeah, the Vávra seems to be on the warpath on trying to nitpick certain things, especially here on GameSub. This is a score from oh my god, where is the site? Metacritic, I think. I think the review itself, he barely touched on the game's representation. So the gay scene stuff, they're giving only a passion mention toward the end of the review. The criticism focused more on the character stuff, narrative, and mechanics of the game themselves. And supposedly the review was kind of measured, so no big things here, but yeah, the response from this, by the fact that it comes around at the 50 out of 100, and it's not in line what he wants. He just goes on the rant here. A trusted news source, mission accomplished. We no longer have 90% Metacritic score. Be proud of your excellent journalist standards. Again, there's no reason to do this. Again, there is always going to be somebody that will not like the game. As a reviewer, it's bound to happen. But again, instead of praising the fact that the game is on the higher end of the Metacritic score, it just focused on single out a reviewer that didn't enjoy that much as everybody else. And again, even some gamers and customers of this product are calling him out. Daniel Vávra, one of them said, "Bashing journalists for not giving you the score you want isn't a good look, and I love this game." And people, and a lot of these replies are for people that are still enjoying the game, and said this is completely unnecessary. It doesn't add up to the experience that people are having, or anything like that. And other commenters said, "Dude, this is not it. Obviously, you can be unhappy that you're not getting glowing review numbers, but this is silly. Focus on your actual customers' reviews. Again, this is the point. The ones you didn't chase off." Because again, the fact that there was a lot of stuff regarding cancellations of pre-orders, yeah, his response was also not good. And then we got Endymion. He usually does a lot of good coverage regarding rumors and leaks and all that stuff. He's been covering pretty much and pretty good Assassin's Creed Shadow stuff. But yeah, he also had to tweet out stuff regarding this because he's playing the game. And he said, "I just started Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and what I can say so far is, wow, there's a lot of audio-visual bugs so far, music cutting out, character stuttering, shields becoming invisible, weirdly textured. I guess we'll see how it goes, but so far this game needs some patches." And then an update afterwards saying, this game's save system is complete garbage. Why they keep the savior snaps system, I have no idea, but it's actually horrible. The only reliable way to save your game is to save and click to main menu and then immediately hit continue and load the game again. And again, we also things. Again, this is I don't blame the developer studio or even Vávra regarding this, because usually when everything regarding marketing is on the responsibility of the publisher, and they didn't have the same publisher for the first game, and we already saw some hints that the community management on this game coming from the publisher it was not going to be fair enough on the feedback that they are receiving for customers. But yeah, it's holding around 90% on Steam, and 7,000 reviews are positives. Again, possible there is a possible review censorship after Pirate Nation shared a screenshot showing Steam allegedly banning negative reviews that criticize the game inclusions of the what's so called woke elements. Again, the gay scene. Again, people. Again, it's not the best review given that he only had like 10 minutes or so on game after doing the review, which it does illustrate that it's not the most helpful review here, and the fact that mentioning this same-sex romance thing, which I think supposedly if it happens, it's way down the line of the story of the game. So again, we people can read, but this is more a critique about the the response that Vávra has been going at people asking questions and say why did they change the way supposedly the main player or the main character was in a way that it was on lore, and then they had this little extra thing regarding the gay relationship. But yeah, I think he's not doing a good service for his own game, which is very interesting. And we got previous stuff here that most of them I didn't cover because again, it's usually not a game for me. But this came out, this kind of situation got a little bit out of control, let's say. And he lashed out previously at the YouTuber Rev, says the Sue. I'm not sure who is this, calling me a grifter or viewed discussing pre-order cancellations. This attack was widely criticized, especially since Rev's video actually defended the game against accusation of being woke. Again, even people that were praising the game and having a good expectation regarding the game and were hyped to play the game, even Vávra, for them, just throwing him under the bus and calling names and not doing a good PR strategy for his own game. Then we got some coverage from major content creators, including Smashy T, Very Dark, and Grumps, turned against him after he continued to lash out at the gaming community instead of focusing on constructive dialogue. Again, this comes after the replies and the threads that he did on Twitter, replying to the Saudi Arabia ban and all that jazz, and not being clear enough from the get-go regarding the questions that people were having, and then bashing out at people that are prospective customers. Again, this is not looking good, and it reaches a point that people lose interest in buying this game, even though it has good sales. But again, I think if it was treated differently, I think the sales could be even better. I don't know. It's one of those things that we might speculate but never have for sure. And then he's filled with Rev led to more pre-order cancellations, completely undermining his own marketing strategy and causing rifts in the very audience that once supported the game. Again, because he was bashing out at the people that were basically doing the pre-orders, people were saying, okay, if this guy is responding like this to people that already pre-ordered the game and making it seem that you're not good enough to play this game to a certain degree, as an overall message, people just cancel the pre-order. So it's money lost without the need to be so. And then again, the game sold well. It seems to be pretty good. I think the roadmap, in terms of content, from what I perceive, it seems pretty interesting. Even though I probably will not play this game, mainly because of how the game is kind of a simulation kind of a game there. Even though it seems to be a pretty good RPG with some good mechanics, but it's have too much simulation elements for me to probably enjoy this, and the fact that I already lost the train on the first one. But yeah, and of course there is a lot of other games that I will eventually play that I'm more curious and want to experiment with before putting this on my wish list per se, or in my queue in terms of games to play. I don't know. Maybe in the future we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, he didn't improve the situation, the response from the creative director himself. But yeah, this is what I got from news. Let's go for some deals here. We got Mass Effect Legendary Edition. It's still on sale, 90% off. The free games, remastered in 4K. Yeah, remastered 4K, Ultra HD, and all that jazz. Pretty good trilogy. And of course, all the DLC is included also. Then we got Darkest Dungeon, again, 85% off on the base edition, and then we got other editions here. This is a pretty good game if you like turn-based combat with some dungeon crawler and role-like elements. Again, I think this game seems to be pretty good. We got also Resident Evil franchise is still on sale. I will leave all the Resident Evil games there on the description below so you can pick and choose and complete your collection. We got Hogwarts Legacy, it's still on sale also, 70% on the base game. We got King Arthur's Knight's Tale, 70% on the base game also. We got Metaphor Refantasio, almost done there. But you have a demo if you want to try this one out. I will probably eventually, in one of further sales, probably I'll get this game because I never played a Persona kind of a games here from Atlus, so we'll have to wait and see. We got No Man's Sky, 60% off. Again, base game, 20 plus content deliveries already done since the game was launched. So this game is on a very high note in terms of positive feedback. And then last we got Red Dead Redemption 2 is still almost finished up on sale. But yeah, 75% off. I think it's a pretty good price here. But yeah, other than that, I'll wrap up here with a plug on my Patreon for extra support. This extra support is more in line for me to be able to get better storage solutions so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.